And we are live. It's the Revved Up 906 podcast, a Detroit Pistons podcast, to be exact. And I'm Hudson.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are going to get right into tonight's recap of the Detroit Pistons versus the Chicago Bulls. The Pistons win their first back-to-back games, and this was an impressive one. And we're going to be buffed up for this episode because every time the Detroit Pistons win, we will be buffed up during the whole recap. And tonight's final score was 118-102 in the Detroit Pistons' favor, winning this game by 16 points. And really, when watching this game, breaking down the box score, tonight's player of the game was Jalen Duren. 23 points, dominant 15 rebounds, 5 assists. And he shot 9 of 11 from the field. Nikola Vucevic was in over his head tonight. He couldn't stop Jalen Duren. I believe there was like 3 or 4 lob dunks for Duren tonight. He was just so dominant and really proving to have an all-star caliber play style.
Yeah, on the pregame show before the game started, the question was brought up, if Cade Cunningham is Batman, who's Robin in the Pistons offense? Well, not just offense, but the overall. You had Grant Long saying, who was it? Bojan Bogdanovic. You had Tim McCormick saying Jaden Ivey. And then you had Lindsey Hunter saying Jalen Duren. And I completely agree with Lindsey Hunter. I mean, obviously, Grant Long, respect. That's a good response. Tim McCormick, I love you. That's a good response. But I think the correct response is Jalen Duren. When you look at what he's done in the first 3 games now of the season, he's averaging a double-double, for one. He's averaging what we predicted he'd average. Yep. And then it's just like you're seeing the maturity out there. And he's still a teenager. He doesn't turn 20 until November 18th. So it's coming up. That'll be sad when he's not a teenager anymore because we want to stack that record for double-doubles in a career. He's at 22 right now. But the point is, like, him out there tonight, it wasn't just him catching a lob and throwing it down or having a putback dunk or putback layup or just going up or just crashing the glass. It wasn't just that. We saw him have 5 assists tonight. And you have Greg Kelser comment on that during the game going like, hey, you're seeing a whole new Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren last year wouldn't have necessarily thought of making that extra pass or been trying to thread the needle with some of these passes. But you're seeing the maturity of Jalen Duren right before our eyes and the fact that he's had 5 assists in this game tonight. He had 3 last night. And so it's just like he's progressing into being an all-around guy, and it's beautiful to see because I really believe, I mean, if he's able to easily average a double-double, who's to say he couldn't average a triple-double down the line?
Right. Yeah, with the passing ability he has, he's flirting each and every night with his averages of assists keep going up and up and up. I agree. I think it's not out of the realm of conversation that should be being had right now. Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, those are 3 young guys that might possibly be flirting with triple doubles with their averages in 2 to 3 years. I completely agree. And with Jalen Duren getting that 23 points, 15 rebounds, and then 2 blocks, 1 steal, Nikola Vucevic couldn't stop him at all. And it's when you talk about them one-on-one, there's going to be a lot of nights where Nikola Vucevic against other teams is going to be able to hold his own. But Jalen Duren is playing at such a high level right now where he's just too outmatched.
Yeah, he really is. You had Paul George commenting on playing against Duren last year saying, like, it's a grown man in a kid's body. That's who I'm playing up against. You can't just score on him that easily. And this proves it again tonight from last season, is that you can't just score willy-nilly on Jalen Duren. You actually have to beat him to score on him. And Vooch, I love Vooch. He's one of the better premier centers in the league. He's a very hardworking guy. If he really wanted to, he could easily be scoring 25 plus points a night, like easily. That's what he did when he was with the Magic. He's taken a step back because when you have a three-headed monster with DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, who had a monster night tonight, and then himself, it's kind of hard to go out there and consistently score 20 plus points every night. But still, the point is, Jalen Duren is proving that it's not going to be like you're going in there expecting him to score. You have to like actually beat him at his own game to score on him.
What's interesting too, and was great to see Jalen Duren get a block on Andre Drummond. It's so weird as a Pistons fan to one, see Drummond in a Bulls jersey, but then two, this new reincarnation of this dominant center in the Pistons organization, you know, probably 13 years after Andre Drummond was drafted by the Pistons, Jalen Duren just blocking Drummond off the backboard. It was great to see, and it kind of encapsulated Jalen Duren's game for the night. He was so dominant. Somebody I want to talk about, we'll talk about Cade in a minute. He played great, had a great comeback game, but I want to talk about Ausar Thompson because on 3 different occasions in tonight's game, he stopped Zach LaVine. He had 2 forced turnovers, and then he blocked Zach LaVine on a fadeaway jumper. He really impressed me tonight. And the Pistons, actually, the announcers tonight actually mentioned how Ausar Thompson is leading all rookies in rebounds tonight through 3 games. That's really showing me, and we saw him get to the double-digit mark with 10 tonight. Ausar Thompson is impressing me. He's exceeding my expectations, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I know that he's talented, but I don't, because of the last couple of years, I don't give rookies these super high expectations. I want to kind of be within myself and not give them these lofty goals. But Ausar Thompson is meeting everything and more of what Pistons fans could want from him. Tonight, 9 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 of 7 from the field. Let's see his blocks. You got 1 block, 1 steal with only 2 turnovers. He is playing a high-level basketball right now, and he's proved in these first 3 games that he is capable of guarding the opposing team's best player. I know Zach LaVine scored 52, whatever it was, but when Ausar and Zach LaVine were one-on-one in certain situations, Ausar proved that he's elite defender.
Yeah, when you look at the game tape here, the last 3 games matched up with Jimmy Butler game 1, matched up with Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball game 2, and then matched up with at times Zach LaVine, but mainly DeMar DeRozan tonight. And you saw in all 3 appearances, you've seen an elite defender and a player of his caliber who's playing beyond his years. Like he shouldn't be. I say he shouldn't be, but I'm not gonna say him specifically, but most rookies aren't able to play to the level he's been playing at in the first 3 games of their career. And this is why it's even more impressive to me, and I'm sure even more impressive to you, just the fact of the maturity, if anything. Like a rookie, it's just majority of the time, it's not possible that you see a rookie putting clamps on DeMar DeRozan, Jimmy Butler, Zach LaVine, LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier. I know Terry Rozier is kind of like the odd man out of those guys, but he's still one of those higher end point guards in the league.
Totally.
But the fact that Ausar has locked down whenever he's guarding them, has locked them down every single time. I mean, yes, those aren't like elite players in the league, but they're borderline all-stars, if not all-stars. And he's locked them down every single time. I'm just gonna say it, like, when is LeBron coming to town? Because I think Ausar Thompson could lock him down.
Yeah. And opposing small forwards, when they see Detroit coming up on their schedule, should be shaking in their boots because they know they have young, hungry Ausar Thompson ready to match up against any opposing small forward. I can't wait till we play the Clippers, the Lakers, because we're going to get a look at Ausar guarding. I'm not sure if Kawhi Leonard's back from injury, but for sure Paul George, LeBron James, even when we go up against the Phoenix Suns and get a look at him against Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. I'm very excited. And obviously, like, these superstar small forwards, Will they get the best of Asar at times? Yes, but Asar isn't even 20 yet. And what we're seeing is just not even the tip of the iceberg yet. He's just getting started. And the fact that he's this hungry, this motivated, and like you said, intelligent is really impressive to me. Tonight, Cade against the Bulls had a tough game. They defended him so tough, double teaming him a lot of the game. And he showed that you can't really stop him no matter what you throw at him. He scored 25 points. He also had 10 assists, 9 of 19 shooting. I love to see that. 1 of 4 from the 3-point line, but that's all right. 3 personal fouls. The one notch on Cade right now is the turnovers, 6 turnovers. But when you're passing the ball as much as he is and facilitating the way he is, I mean, he has the ball, I mean, probably 87% of the time. So a guy like Cade, it's one thing to put the league, by storm. Everybody kind of worried about this guy. And then, for example, maybe 15 years ago, Jeremy Lin on the New York Knicks, he took the league by storm, and then teams started game planning against him and he kind of disappeared. Well, Cade's kind of in that situation where he's getting double teamed. People are game planning for him, and he's still putting 25 on your best defender. Cade is the man.
Yeah, he really is. He played 40 minutes tonight. That's a lot. He honestly didn't even need to play 40 minutes tonight by the way that our team was playing. But still, it's impressive to see what he was able to do, even when you had a guy in your face. Like, he had a guy in his face every play all night long. And it wasn't just like they were in his face. They were like body to body contact. They were roughing him up, and he still got the dub. He's still 25 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds. Like, he still put on a show even when the defense was going at him. Well, the defense kind of with the Bulls tonight reminded me of and it's a weird comparison, I know, but it's kind of similar to how the bad boys played against Jordan, right? So they were very physical, very hands-on with him, trying to body him up every single time they could get it. Like, they would just push him, right? For no reason. They would just push him. And that's what the Bulls were trying to do with Cade tonight. They were trying to get him off his game, trying to rock him up a little bit. But like, Cade prevailed. He handled the situation perfectly. I mean, yeah, 9 of 19 shooting isn't spectacular, but the fact that he was still able to get 25 points and a double-double with only 6 turnovers. I mean, 6 turnovers, as bad as that is, it could be much worse. And so the fact that Cade had the defense at him, had the refs going up against him all night, and he still was able to do that, like, kudos, Cade.
One thing that's interesting to me too is we see a lot of times in the NBA, the superstars get all the calls. And with Cade tonight, we saw him get 3 and 1s. And then we saw Cade Cunningham kind of get aggressive with Alex Caruso atop the 3-point line. Cade was trying to get space, and we kind of saw Cade give him a little bit of a shove. And then Cade got the call against Alex Caruso. We're starting to see the refs come along to him a little bit. And that's good to see, because we saw his rookie year, he would get no calls at all. We saw Jaden with that last season too. But now that Cade's starting to make a name for himself in the NBA, and people kind of circle him when they see him coming up on the calendar, I think that he's starting to get those superstar calls. And I love to see that, because the Pistons haven't had that kind of player in years.
No, they really haven't. And even the first quarter for me tonight, it seemed like early on that the refs were keeping the Bulls in the game. And I know you can't, it's weird. And kind of like, dude, why are you going there when we got the win tonight? You don't need to go there. But realistically, every single night out there, it's always going to be the Pistons versus the opposing team and the refs. That's always what it's going to be. And so the fact that we were not only able to beat the Bulls and beat the refs tonight, that's just icing on top of the cake right there. Just a cherry on top, because the refs really were favoring the Bulls all night long. And it's kind of like, you take the refs out of the game from the first quarter to the second quarter alone going into halftime, we would have probably obliterated the Bulls, honestly. Like, in the first quarter, we outscored them by 3 points. Second quarter, we outscored them by 10 going into halftime. Jaden Ivey hits that clutch three. Like, come on, that was amazing. And then the third quarter, which historically speaking, last year and this year has not been our best quarter. They outscore us 33-27. But then the fourth quarter, 34-25 in our favor. We've outscored them every single quarter. And usually what happens is the refs get involved a little too much. And then that's why the other team has come into the game. But no, this game throughout the whole thing, I'm proud of our team because, like, yeah, the refs were in favor of the Bulls, clearly. It was evident. But I'm not even going to use that as an excuse because we got the win. But the Bulls were playing pretty tough on us tonight. It's kind of like they watched the tape against the Heat. They watched the tape against the Hornets. They were going in there going like, okay, we actually have to be physical with them. If we're not physical with them, we're going to lose. And they, even though they were physical tonight, it proved that they still can't beat us.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. A lot of people that watch this podcast regularly know that I am hard on Isaiah Stewart. I've always been tough on him since we've drafted him. I just hold him to high expectations, so I expect a lot out of him. And I was kind of disappointed with him last year, to be honest. It seemed like on a lot of Revved Up recaps, he wasn't really making an impact. Guys, he has had a hot start to this season. He is playing with an energy that I don't think we quite saw last year. I think Monty Williams really pulls something out of him. And I don't know if he's just energized to have Cade back, if he really gets along with Jalen Duren. We see that those two guys are kind of getting cute as the dog pound. It's kind of interesting, but it seems like we are seeing a new Isaiah Stewart in the early stages of this season. We saw him get 14 points tonight, 9 rebounds, 6 of 14 from the field, and 1 steal. Isaiah Stewart is playing at a very, very high level right now, and he is very involved in every aspect of the Pistons right now. And we saw last game against the Charlotte Hornets, Monty Williams really talking a lot with Isaiah Stewart and how they have this new signal to calm each other down. And it seems like they really relate to each other. And it seems like it's a really healthy relationship that they've already kind of have a bond, which is so great to see between a guy that is kind of the image of the team and then the coach who's coaching the team.
Yeah, like I've said the last 2 recaps here, like we're seeing a whole new, brand new Pistons. When I say brand new, I mean it is brand new compared to where we were. It's a new era of the Pistons. But no, like Monty, I really believe Monty and his staff have really shown these guys, like, hey, like you guys are legit if you play the right way. And like he's just drilled it into them from the beginning till now. And it's just evident that this Pistons team is starting to finally play like they should play. Like Killian Hayes tonight. I just want to throw him out there. Like he played 23 minutes, 2 of 5 shooting, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line, had 6 points, 4 assists, a rebound, and a steal. Nothing spectacular, right? Not like, whoa, Killian Hayes, my goodness, have a night. Good job. Right. Not anything like that. But you saw, even with that stat line, in the key moments of the game, you saw how impactful he was. He had that clutch steal on the transition back on defense. He had that clutch steal on, I think it was Zach LaVine, and there they go the other way. We score, right? And so it's just evident that, like, Killian Hayes finally coming into his own, Isaiah Stewart finally coming into his own. Like the guys that have had poor seasons in the past are finally starting to play to the level that they should have been playing at from the start. And to me, that shows you how good of a coach Monty Williams is. And that's no disrespect to Dwayne Casey. We love Dwayne Casey. But Monty just brings a whole new level to it because Dwayne Casey, highest level of basketball he played was college, right? Monty Williams was a seasoned NBA vet before he became a coach. And then even as a coach has had success because the staff he has built around him are all former players too. And so when you have former players talking and instilling what they've learned through their years in the league to these young guys can take those examples and just put it in with their game as themselves. And so you're starting to see these players play beyond where they have been in the past, just because you have the right mindset and the right guys around you. And I'm very happy right now with the way Stu's been playing, with the way Duran's been playing, Killian, Marvin Bagley tonight, 11 points, 6 rebounds, not complaining there. Jaden Ivey had a quiet night, but still, when he had his opportunities, he was electric. You had Alec Burks, which last year had moments where he was like, okay, Alec Burks. And you're like, okay, Alec Burks. But through the first 3 games, Alec Burks has been a staple off that bench for the Pistons. And I'm just excited with the mindset going into this season because these guys are starting to finally play to where they should be.
Yeah, and to talk about Alec Burks a little bit, he was rolling on all cylinders tonight. He is proving in the early stages of this season, he's an absolute scorcher offensively. 18 points, 2 rebounds, 6 of 12 from the field, but really 6 of 10 from the 3-point line. Alec Burks is just a key source to the offense right now with the absence of Bojan and Monte Morris. And then also Joe Harris only had 3 points, but he only took 2 shots. And the 3-pointer he made was off a previous. So the previous offensive possession for the Pistons, it was an Alec Burks 3. And then Joe Harris matched it the next possession with another 3-point shot. Well, that's a 6-0 run. And that is a crucial point where if Joe Harris misses that, he leaves the game and never did anything. But when he's able to knock down that 3 the way he did and give the team that momentum and rally the Pistons the way he did with that 3-point shot, it's crucial in a big time win like this against a tough, stout team in the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, and these guys just proved more so in clutch situations that they can get the job done. And we saw that the first 2 nights till now, like it's evident that this is a whole new team and they're just playing with swagger and confidence. Like last year on the defensive side of the ball, it was constantly like we're fouling every single time, or we're letting the guy just blow right past us to the rim, or just hit the open shot. Like we gave up. This year, through the first 3 games, we're playing like we run the joint, and this is like you have to go through us to win. And it's just very exciting and exhilarating because like Duran, like you pointed it out earlier, him blocking Andre Drummond is just like, I think that's the staple going forward for who this team is. Like seriously, the fact you have essentially the new Pistons taking out an old Piston, and now I say that in a nice way because we love Andre Drummond. We do. Every Pistons fan loves Andre Drummond, but it's still the point to be said. Like this is a whole new team, and when you have the guy who used to run the joint getting blocked by the new guy that's starting to come into his own, like that's just like watch out going forward because this team, like it's starting to get scary.
Yeah, the Pistons are on another level right now. What I want to see is them continue this. Let's go get this next win against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We beat them twice in the preseason. Let's go get this win Monday and keep it rolling. Let's rack up these wins while the team is completely energized. And now tomorrow the Pistons can rest all day Sunday and then all day Monday and get back to it Monday night. They're going to have a great game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I can't wait to see the way they match up against them. I want to make sure to remind you guys to go check out our recent episode that was posted on Saturday. I want to make sure you guys watch our episode talking about the preseason takeaways from this year's preseason of the Detroit Pistons. We talk about the little knit and grit details of each game, what we thought about Asar Thompson, what we saw from Cade Cunningham, James Wiseman, Marvin Bagley. We talk about everybody. So make sure to tune into that episode. It's a really good episode that we talk about the details of the preseason and the differences between this year's team and last year's team. So make sure to tune in. Make sure to like and subscribe. This podcast is growing and we want to continue to grow. So make sure to smash that like button so YouTube pushes us out into the YouTube algorithm. And then I want to make sure to let you guys know that Grind Clothing Co. is our official merch sponsor. So make sure to hit the link in our YouTube bio or the description of this video. You can find hats and polos, much like the ones me and Ryan are wearing in today's recap. So make sure to go check out our merch because you need to rep your favorite Detroit Pistons podcast, Revved Up 906. Also, there's an arrow button below this video. Click that arrow button and share us on your Snapchat stories, Facebook pages, Instagram pages. So spread the word about your favorite podcast, Revved Up 906. We would really appreciate that. We always thank you guys so much for showing so much love to us. It's so greatly appreciated. That will do it for tonight's recap of the Detroit Pistons versus the Chicago Bulls. Tonight's final score was 102 to 118 in the Detroit Pistons' favor. That will make it 2 in a row, 2 episodes in a row that were buffed up. I love it. We will see you guys on Monday night. Peace.